Hello, my name is Lila Evans Allen, and I am a happiness practitioner. Basically, what that means is that every day I do my best to act, speak, believe, behave from my heart center, to know that I am loved and to be a vessel for that love. I like to compare happiness, the feeling of happiness, to that unconditional love, because it doesn't just mean rainbows and unicorns, though I'm very much a rainbow unicorn girl. It's being able to hold, to feel, not to hold on to feel and connect with that center, that feeling of love, that knowledge of the world, even when times are difficult, even when it seems like there's no reason to be happy, there is still that deep down connection, knowledge that overall, in the end, energetically, we are all love, we are all connected, and there's just so much beauty to be part of, that even the sorrow is beautiful. Which is awfully easy for me to say sitting here in this lovely chair with a gorgeous sun shining outside. But it is something I have been able to connect with even when it has been difficult. Some of the basics of happiness practice are that we are each unique. We each have our own truths, because nobody else is living my life and can be able to see and say everything the same way I can. And I cannot see and say and choose everything the way you can. We are all different. We all have different perspectives. We all have different perceptions. We all have slightly different vocabulary. We all have a different point of view that has formed this book, this foundation, this movie that is our lives. And an example, if I say the face of God, I believe that each and every one of us is going to have a different visual in our heads. Some of it will depend on what faith system we were raised in. Some of it will depend on the faith system we have now. Some of it may depend on how much the Marvel movies or the fantasy books or other imaginative adventures play into our picture of the divine. But even to Catholics raised side by side who have always been given the idea that God is an older gentleman with long white hair and a beard, wearing a white robe, they're still going to have a little bit different hair. One might imagine a beard that's fuller than the other. One might have thinner cheeks. One might be more Santa Claus-like. We all have something slightly different. We all see things slightly different. And basically, I've come to the realization that if I want to be accepted, to feel like I am part of the beautiful tapestry of the world, then I have to accept others. But because I can accept others, I get to be accepted as well. And it is this lovely cycle. Now, like I said, it is not all unicorns and rainbows. It is a lot of work. And so one of the reasons I wanted to add the happiness videos to my current repertoire is because talking about it helps me work through it. And having a schedule of videos helps keep me accountable. And also, I like the feeling that I'm connecting with something, someone, some energy, and sharing a moment. So these videos are basically for me. This is the happiness practice after all. I get to do what is right for me. And what is right for me right now is figuring out, practicing, doing happiness videos, and to see how they flow. See if it's something I want to continue. And go from there. So, my happiness practice itself does include daily practices when I'm doing well. And there are some practices I'm still trying to work out. So, the things that I would like to start with is every morning I like to hit snooze and turn over and go back to sleep. But I also like to get out of bed and get things done. So when I am in that stage between coming out of dreams or coming awake and actually being awake and active in that in-between area, that can be a dangerous time. It can be really easy to slip into the, I just don't want to. And it's so nice in here and the world is outside. And Abraham Hicks has expressed it the best, that it is important to focus on what we want to be part of our world. So I like to start my mornings with appreciation. Just lying there in bed, appreciating the blankets that I'm snuggled into, the sheets, appreciating the decorations on the wall, appreciating the roof over my head, or the way my body is feeling in the moment. Oftentimes I get to appreciate my cat cuddling up to me. So I would like to just take a few moments, 4 seconds, and breathe gently and just look around the room, the space you're in. Maybe look out the window or focus in on self and just find some things that you appreciate. And it can be as simple as liking the color of something, or liking the view, or the memories that they evoke. So let's just take a moment and appreciate. I am very lucky because I have a lot to appreciate. That is the benefit of having lived many years. And I am grateful that I'm the kind of person who has attracted people that I'm happy to have memories of. So now that we are in the wavelength that there are some beautiful things in the world, things we enjoy, things that we like. The next thing I like to do in a day, to start my day, is decide how I want to feel. And humorously to me, this is something that a lot of the people I listen to and connect with now also talk about, that we get to choose what we feel. And yeah, it's a 50-50. Choose isn't so much the word as choose what we focus on. But that the feeling of things is one of the most important parts of creating a world that we want to live in. And I am one of those people who needs to work it out for myself. So when I first started this happiness thing and I was talking about it, and people would say, oh, you should read The Secret. Oh, you should read Joel Osteen. Oh, you should look at The Art of Happiness by the Dalai Lama and someone else, and I can't remember his name. There's all these things that you should look at and read. I'm like, no, none of them are right. I want to do it myself. It's my individual practice. And so it's one of those things, I guess, where once you've proved the theorem, then you can connect with other people's illustrations of it and feel good and accept it and say yay. But I do think belief is something that we each have to, in a way, prove to ourselves. We have to get to that defining moment of this is my truth. This is what works for me. And, we have all these guidelines, and we have religious leaders, and we have all the fantasy books. And I keep bringing those up because those have guided a lot of my philosophy. But in the end, we have to say, yes, this is what feels right in here. And so I did reach the feeling thing independently. Which just, I guess, makes it funny. And the first thing I remember, the first realization I remember making about it was kind of well, why do we do these things? Why do we do this? Why do we do that? Why does somebody treat somebody some way? Why do I put myself out there this way or retreat that way? Why do I react and respond to specific things in a specific way? And basically it came down to, because that is what I think will make me happy in the end. I believe that if this happens and I do this, then I will continue on this contented road and I will be happy. I will be loved. I will be with the people I want to be with, or doing the thing I want to do, or have the roof over my head. I feel better when I make that choice, do that action. So whether it is doing charity or hoarding, or eating or not, or exercising or not, or working or not. The base, I think that the very, very base reason for why we do whatever we do or make the choice that we make is because in the end, we believe it will bring us happiness. It will bring us our basic needs and peace and that whatever feeling we're chasing, which is our definition of happiness. And so that then leads to the exploration of, well, what is it that I really want to feel? What feelings do I equate with that happy moment? What is it that I really want? And so working through those feeling things, I was able to, for me, realize how much of my body is involved in the feelings. For example, if you're like me, when you get stressed, your forehead may furrow, or the shoulders going up to the ears. That is something that is often talked about. The stomach could clench. Maybe the hands get active. And I realized that I do a lot of tensing. And this is after I've been practicing for years. I'm braced for things to happen. So the feelings are associated with the physical, as within, so without, as above, so below. It is all part of a cycle. So my morning practice, I like to focus on what I want to feel. Not what I'm currently feeling, because I'm currently feeling whatever I'm currently feeling. And if I start focusing in on that, which is what I used to do, I would start with that and then change it. Like, let's just skip the middleman and go straight to, what do I want to feel? So this can be physical, this can be emotional, it can be whatever, but we are going to take a couple minutes and just write down, a little pad of paper, what I want to feel. And I do believe it is important to record it in some way, to get it out, even if it's just speaking it out instead of writing it down, because things can get stuck in the head. We have thoughts that go a mile a minute, and they're not necessarily our thoughts. They're things that have come in from television and music and books and hearing other people, and they just ricochet back and forth as they try and get processed. And if something is repeated often enough, then it is stuck in our heads. So we want to be able to express them. I need to be able to express them, to give them life in a way so that I can say, yes, that is what I want to feel, or no, that's not quite how I want to put it. So I'm going to put 2 minutes on the clock, and I am going to let the music up a little bit. I don't know if you can hear it or not. And just write or express what you want to feel. And if it goes off into a tangent, yay. It doesn't even have to make sense to anybody but you, and maybe not even to you. But this is about what we want. Not what is, but what we want. Okay. Oh, and it doesn't have to be things you don't have. It can be things you currently have and you want to continue feeling them. Okay, so now look at your list and pick something that feels important, that you want to focus on. One thing or situation or feeling. I am going to be working on my body, connecting in with my body. It's the one that final thing for my manifestations practice that I am still practicing a lot. So the way I express it is I want to feel slender and flexible. And there's going to be a whole lot that will connect with that. But that is the one thing I'm going to focus in on. So the next couple minutes will be about expanding on that. Not only, so what does it mean to feel slender? And this is not a looking in the mirror or fitting into a pair of pants. It is about the feeling of having the pants fit, that kind of joy and also, oh my goodness, amazement. What does it feel like to be flexible? It's not just being able to do the yoga move, but it's also that kind of pride in having done the yoga move. It's about that, if you know how it feels when you exercise, you bring that feeling into it. If you know how it feels to do parts of things that lead to your feeling, you can connect with that feeling. And it is not just about the base of the feeling, but it is also about the awe, the happiness, the release of frustration or the additional frustration, because we get to know ourselves. And maybe every time something good happens, there's also that underlying fear that, but it will go away soon, or the, okay, now what do I do feeling. So knowing, connecting with all of those feeling bits that go into what it feels like to do whatever you're focusing on. And we'll just make this a minute since we've been exploring feelings for a little bit. I actually should have given that one 2 minutes. All right. So basically, we have defined what it feels like to feel whatever it is we want to feel. So again, for example, I chose slender and flexible. Physically, I know that feels like a slightly hollow, a concave tummy, and that it feels easier to breathe. There's also that little giggly glee of having achieved it, again, having gotten back to where I want to be. There's also the feeling of capability. Yes, I have done it. Finally, I can do this. I have done it. Look at what I've done. And curiosity, because when I stretch consistently, there's often then that little bit more I can do the next day, and a little bit more I can do the next day. When I do the yoga consistently, there's a little bit more I can do every day, and the easier breathing and the realization that maybe it's supposed to feel like this. So when I am feeling slender and flexible and strong with it, part of the feeling is the curiosity of how much further can I go. So now I would like to take a minute or two and just sit with that feeling that feeling, whatever you've chosen to focus on, all the little bits, physically, mentally relaxed, joyous, giggling, proud, accomplished, whatever it is that feels what you want to feel. We're going to just practice feeling it for the next couple minutes. And when you're ready, just come on back to the current world. Now, if you're like me, it wasn't actually that easy to focus on the feeling because the music actually got in the way. I love piano music, so my brain starts dancing, my fingers start playing, I start thinking of other things, and of course, there's also the, okay, and what am I going to say next? And until recently, there was also the awkwardness of what does it look like? What do people see when I close my eyes and feel something? And I realized that has been a big block to changing my life, to, manifesting things, to expressing what I want, because there was a what are people going to say when I get the new car, or I reach the preferred weight and feeling that I have, or when my hair changes, or when I say that I'm doing this or say that I'm doing that. So we're back to a lot of happiness is about accepting myself, forgiving myself, allowing myself. I have this lovely chakra flag, and one of the things in it is for the solar plexus chakra. I can never remember solar plexus or sacral. One is right above the belly button, one is below it. You're like, well, which one do you get punched in? I don't know, I don't get punched. But it's the second to last chakra, or the second to the bottom chakra, the orange one, and it is, I love all facets of myself, basically, and I delight in weaving the creative tapestry that is my life. The knowledge that I am not just one perception, even. I am not just one straight and narrow story. I am not just one truth. I am a different being in every moment. And each of those moments is based on the moment before. And at over 50 years old, I have a lot of moments that my lives are based on, and a lot of habits that are ingrained that it's going to take a while to change. And that also includes feelings. A lot of feelings that automatically come to the fore when an event happens, when I feel something else, when someone says a word. So we are all, in a way, and 100 different people, 100 different ways of looking at something, 100 different ways of reacting. Moody. We're all moody. So learning to accept that about myself was probably the biggest practice up until now. So those are the things I like to start with in the morning. Appreciating what is around me, and then focusing on what I want to feel, and just letting myself feel it for a couple of minutes. Letting myself just be in that feeling of joy or awesomeness or slenderness or pride or love or whatever. And it works for me. It really works for me. And you'll notice I added that caveat at the end, for me. This is what works for me. This is my happiness practice. Everybody gets to create their own, because I don't know what slenderness feels like to you. I don't know what strength feels like to you. I don't know what creativity feels like to you, or competence. I just know what it feels like to me. So, ideally, the happiness practice videos going forward will start with a few minutes of appreciation, some minutes of feeling what we want to feel, and then I will meander about whatever I need to talk about that day, which honestly will probably be a lot of body stuff, because honestly it is my final seemingly hurdle. I've always been a spiritual person. I've always been connected. So, connecting with the higher beings, or knowing that there was divine love out there, has never been a problem for me. It has merely been figuring out how to incorporate all the things that felt like they were true, and being able to express it, being able to say it out loud and accept myself, and accept that it doesn't matter what other people think about it, because this is my truth in my life. And so I've, kind of worked my way down the chakras, connect to divine, connect to my higher power, able to open my brain, the third eye, and allow there to be more than just the straightened box. Practice vocalizing and expressing in different fashions. One of the most difficult, keeping my heart open. Because for many years it was all about the brain. If you conceive it, you can achieve it. Mind over matter. And if you've heard other of my videos, or talked to me in any fashion, or read any of my other blogs, that is a recurring theme also. The fact that I have to work a lot going from the mind over matter to opening the heart. For me, that is where it all works, is the heart, which again reattaches, connects to it being about the feelings as opposed to about the visualization. Quick example. If I visualize something, I'm seeing it out here. Like I can see myself on the screen right there, out there. That is out. That is away from me. But if I want to put myself in a situation on stage, or in a yoga pose, or doing a job, I need to feel it here, not out there, here. So visualization has never worked for me, because I've always seen it as on a screen, when it needs to be here. This is what is being affected, not that. So my word for that is in visualization. I need to visualize it in my body, feel it in my body. So heart opening. Moving down to my will. It is okay for me to have a will. It is okay for me to want to put my will out in the universe. It is okay for me to choose that I want to have this kind of job, that I want this kind of roof over my head, that I want to be abundant and secure, and that I want to have good relationships, and I want to have the car that works. It is okay for me to choose that, and it is okay for me to ask for that, and it is okay for me to receive that. My will and divine will, they're one. And then the accepting of myself. We're talking about the orange chakra. All the little bits of myself, all the instincts and different reactions, and the different beings that I become depending on the situation I'm in, or the person I'm talking to. I have thousands of characters that can relate to thousands of different people. And that is part of being empathetic. But it can sometimes also feel like, then who am I if I'm alone and not reacting? So kind of being able to meld all those into the main being of Lila, and still be me in every situation, be able to have that core and that connection and that centering. And that takes us down to the root chakra, which is what I'm working on this year. The physicality of it all. I am connected to the earth. I am made of earth. And whether that is also stardust, we're talking about the physical body, which is what I use to interpret my world at this time. It is what I use to interact with people, vocally, physically. It is what I use to pet kitties and experience the world. And it is very, very much an interesting practice, because I've been focused up here for so very long. And I just thought, the body does what it does. It doesn't need me. I don't need to connect. And so it's taken me a very long time to figure out the signals. And one of the reasons that being slender and flexible is something I'm very focused on is because one of my reactions to almost anything is eating. If I am in pain, I am going to eat because it brings a feeling of comfort. If I am stressed, I'm going to eat because it brings a feeling of comfort. If I am celebrating, I'm going to eat because that is what we do to celebrate things. We have a party, we have a special food or a special drink, or we go out to ice cream. If I am sitting around doing nothing, I am going to eat because I want to be active. So, excuse me, I've got a hair in my face because I'm petting the kitty. So that is the thing I am now going to be focusing on, I believe, for this happiness practice set of sessions. Is for me, it will be about the physical. I am hoping that talking it through, getting it out of my head and giving it form will help me work through and change my actions. I'm hoping I'll be able to stop reacting in ways that are harmful to myself. Because frankly, the reason I am focusing on this is because I'm not happy with the way my body feels at the end of the day and the next morning. I want to feel flexible. I want to feel strong. I want to go for long walks, and I want to have enjoyed my food, and I want to wear clothes that I just feel lithe and graceful in. And I want to do dancing, and I want to do yoga, and I want to sit around like a bum for a while and read books for 2 hours and not get up like groaning and wondering if the end of the world has finally come. So yes, I want to be slender and flexible. I want to feel slender and flexible, which is actually slightly different. Because if you've ever felt bloated by something you've eaten, you can still fit into your clothes, but the pressure is just so different. So I want to feel that giddy, happy, complete curiosity And that is going to be my focus. So, I do believe that anything is possible. And I believe that I can create the world that I want and the body that I want, connected to the divine and the love that I have. And I think that's it. And I believe that your world can be exactly as you wish it. And we can both. We can all. We can everywhere be happy. Take care. I hope you have a great day. And thank you for being with me today.